Good afternoon, class. This is Mr. Cardinal. I want to first say that I am very pleased with the results from the Chapter 10 pretest, so much so that we are going to really accelerate through Chapter 10 and just highlight some of the key areas that many of you had a little bit of difficulty with. And we should be finished with Chapter 10 here within a week. The first section is understanding integers, and it's real important. The one thing I want you to get from this is the term absolute value. It's extremely important to know the definition of absolute value. And again, absolute value is the distance from that integer to 0 on the number line. Distance is always a positive measure, so the absolute value of any integer is always going to be positive. So whether you are looking for the absolute 0 of -7 or 7, it is going to be 7, because 7 is the distance from 0, whether you are going to the left to get -7 or to the right to get +7. It is always going to be 7 units. You can take a look at the number line up above, and if I were to ask you for the absolute value of -5, again, the absolute value of -5, and again, that's how we mark absolute value, are these two vertical lines, one on each side of the integer. So -5, the absolute value of -5 is 5 because it is 5 spaces or units from 0. I could say the same thing for 5. The absolute value of 5, again, absolute value is just looking for the distance from 0. And the distance from 0 for +5 is 5. Now, negative integers and positive integers, I am confident that you understand the difference between negative and positive integers, and that 0 is, of course, neither positive nor negative. The opposite of 0 is always going to be 0. When taking a look at lesson 2, it switches from understanding integers to actually comparing and ordering integers. Now you need to remember, on a number line you have negative and positive numbers. Anything left of 0 is going to be negative, and anything to the right of 0 is going to be positive. The integer that is further to the left is going to be considered less than that of an integer to the right. So for example, compare -6 and -10. -6 is here, and -10 is at the end of the number line there, furthest to the left. So -6, since it is further to the right, it is greater than -10. Same thing when comparing -1 and 2. In this case, you have one negative number and a positive number. You should right away be able to identify that that 2 is greater than -1, because any positive number is going to be larger than a negative number. And the third example gives you 3 numbers to order from least to greatest. You have 2 negative numbers, so we have -4 and -7. So -4 and -7, and the last one is 0. Again, it's a matter of looking from left to right, and you will go from least to greatest. So the smallest number is -7. The next number would be -4, or integer, and the last integer would be 0. So again, the numbers in order from least to greatest would be -7, -4, then 0. So again, the most important thing that I want you to remember for tomorrow is absolute value. That seemed to be the area of most concern on the pretest, and so we will just focus on that. I think it's just going to take a matter of this video and a little short discussion during class, and I think you will understand the concept of absolute 0. So we have covered 2 lessons with this video, and we will go over both of these videos tomorrow in class before moving on into graphing coordinates. And I think after graphing coordinates we will be finished with Chapter 10. Come to class prepared and be ready to work on Lesson 1 and Lesson 2. Thank you.